In this video, you'll learn to master possessive nouns, singular and plural. Possessive nouns show ownership or possession. They can be singular or plural. Singular possessive nouns. These show ownership of a thing. Example, the dog's bone was buried in the backyard. Add apostrophe s to the singular noun dog. What does the dog own? His bone. Singular possessive nouns rule. For singular possessive nouns, add an apostrophe s after the noun. Regardless of the chala's size, desert animals have learned to rely on it for survival. It's one chala, they own their size, so you just add an apostrophe s. 2. This is the world's largest urban bat colony and something truly spectacular to see. One world, you add an apostrophe s. 3. Although most animal horns have only a thin layer of keratin, a rhino's horn has solid keratin. One rhino, apostrophe s. What do they own? The horn. 4. I've lost one of the library's rarest, most expensive books. One library gets an apostrophe s, and what does the library own? Books. That evening, as John was eating dinner with his teammates, he heard Captain Nielsen's voice booming over the loudspeaker. So Captain Nielsen. Nielsen is one Captain Nielsen, so it gets an apostrophe s. Rules for nouns ending in s if the s is silent or if it's difficult to pronounce. Words like Illinois and core end with an s, but the s is silent. In those cases, you want to put the apostrophe after the s. Illinois highways are notable for their easy driving, or the core leader is fair and understanding. For difficult to pronounce, would be words like Texas. Texas panhandle is mostly grassland, or apologize to your family for goodness sake. On these examples, you want to use s apostrophe. Singular possessive nouns ending in s. For singular possessive nouns, you want to add an apostrophe s after the noun. If a new syllable is created when the possessive is pronounced, add an apostrophe followed by an s, such as James's bicycle is brand new. Sometimes, depending on the writer's preference, James could be followed by the apostrophe or add an additional apostrophe s. So what I did was I pulled some mentor text to see some of writer's preferences. Let's look at these three. I looked at Dwight Edwards' signature on my photograph and thought about how great it had been to meet him. S ended Edwards ends with an S, and so since it's singular, it is correct to add an apostrophe s. He has also been a guest on children's shows like Sesame Street and Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Here, this writer has chosen to put an S after, an apostrophe after the S because it may be a little bit hard to pronounce Rogers's. See how that's kind of difficult to pronounce? So if it's going to be difficult to pronounce, it is correct to put an apostrophe after the S that's already there. During her 4 years at the university, the team had an overall record of 133 wins and only 9 losses, partly because of Tamika Catching's outstanding ability to play. So here again, it's one Tamika Catchings, and so it's singular, so we can add an apostrophe s. Plural possessive nouns. These show ownership of more than one thing. The dog's leashes were tangled up. So dogs, more than one dog, their leashes. So here you would put an apostrophe after the plural noun dogs. Put the apostrophe after the S. Plural possessive nouns rule. For plural possessive nouns that end in S, add an apostrophe after the S. So that's S apostrophe. For plural nouns that don't end in S, you add an apostrophe S. Let's look at some examples. For a plural ending in S, such as boys, you would say the boys' bikes are red. B-O-Y-S apostrophe. Let's look at some mentor text as examples. In the future, humanoid robots will be astronauts' eyes in space, going places considered too difficult or unsafe for astronauts to explore. Astronauts, plural, gets an apostrophe after the S. I listened to the players' shoes squeaking loudly on the court. Plural, players, ends in an S, so you add the apostrophe after the S. Early tomorrow morning, we'll beat all the other teams' time. So all the other teams, this is a plural, so the apostrophe goes after the S. So these were all regular. Now let's look at irregular nouns for plurals not ending in S, such as the children, one child, many children. So the children's artwork is amazing. Since children is irregular, it does not end in an S, so we would just add an apostrophe S. Let's look at another plural not ending in S, the cacti. So cactus is one cactus, singular. Cacti is plural, but it does not end in an S. So we would say the cacti's thorns are sharp. Getting votes wasn't easy. He spoke with town councils, talked to customers at grocery stores, and used social media to ask for people's support. So one person, many people. So people is plural. It does not end in an S. It gets an apostrophe S. These are irregular. All right, scholars, let's take a look at how it's tested. Here we have a paragraph. Like many primates, temple monkeys are extremely social animals. They live in family groups called troops. These troops can have as many as 20 members. It is fascinating to watch the monkeys interact with one another. They communicate by using a variety of facial expressions and calls. They sit close together and carefully groom or clean each other. They will even offer a hug to comfort a fellow troop member. At night, the members of a family gather in a warm, cozy huddle. Now, here are our answer choices. Do we want to change members with an apostrophe S to just an S, meaning plural? Do we want to change gather to gathering? Or do we want to change the spelling of cozy? So we can start the process of elimination. We know that cozy is not spelled C-O-Z-E-Y. Cozy is spelled just with the Y, so we can get rid of that. Um, let's examine gather to gathering. At night, the family members of a family gather. Okay, so that is in the present. We want to check the other verbs in the sentences. They sit together, they communicate. So we see that there are no gerunds being used anywhere else. So gather would be correct. So we do not want to change that to gathering. So let's go to members to see if there is possession here. At night, the members of a family gather in a warm, cozy spot. Okay, so this is apostrophe S, and there is no possession here. So we want to turn members into just a regular plural verb. There is no ownership here. So we want to take away the apostrophe S and just leave it as a plural noun. Congratulations, you've practiced possessive nouns and apostrophes. Keep practicing and you'll become an expert in no time. Thanks for joining me today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, happy reading, happy learning.